What do Americans think is normal for everyone? But actually it's not normal for anyone but Americans. Side effects on medication adverts. Fucking hilarious to us Brits. The plot of Breaking Bad being about a science teacher getting cancer and worrying about leaving his family with massive medical debt when he dies. Date order. MDDYYYY. Attack ads against political opponents. Ads for law firms or lawyers. These kinds of ads are illegal and considered unethical in our country. Also expecting a teenager to be out of the house by the time they're 18. I live in Southeast Asia. There's no stigma about living with one's parents. Most of the time, there will be 3 generations living in one house. Casually driving a couple hours. Cars are so ubiquitous and stuff is so spread out a lot of the time we don't even think about travel in distance but instead in driving time. Driving 2 hours on a weekend for random day trip doesn't seem like anything of note. Driving 8 hours is a long trip but not really a huge deal. That the entire traffic has to stop when a school bus stops. I've seen this a few times on and there is always a debate about how it's not normal outside of the US. Lemonade. I'm America. But there was a post going around a while back about an American who ordered a lemonade at a restaurant in Australia and was confused to receive a Sprite. The op of the post was the server. And thought it was just the American being snooty for being confused. Then commenters from other non-US countries chimed in on what a lemonade is to them. It blew my mind. Because in the US lemonade is so iconic as a summer drink. And is often homemade. Ada. Lemonade is not water with lemon in it. It requires sugar and preparation. Second edit. To all the people commenting. Hello America. I'm dad. Pay your child support. You can't just walk out on an entire country like that and show up suddenly now that I've got karma. Mandatory drug tests from an employer. I've asked around. Don't know a single fellow Canadian who's had to do one. Cops included. Asking everyone. What do you do when you first meet them? I live outside the US and realized there are some people I've known for years and I still don't know their job. I think in the US jobs are a bigger part of a person's identity than in some other places. Calling a main course an entree. Being able to vote before reaching the legal drinking age. My maternity leave was an unpaid 6 weeks. And I had to fight them on not shorting me because I went past my due date and didn't keep working until the day I went into labor. Say. I'll just have water. At a restaurant and not be charged for it or be asked. What kind? Having only 2 parties. Republicans and Democrats. I know there are some smaller parties. But the system is stacked against them. Started this topic thinking of reality TV about paternity court cases with the little children present as a trophy for winning. But I remember the other day a Redditor saying they thought all schools had cops at school and it was a regular thing. I thought this could be an eye-opening topic then. I've heard someone say that we are the only ones who drink out of solo cups. Pledge to the flag in class. Extra large bottomless cups for cola or soft drinks. You could bathe in those. Actively avoiding healthcare visits, checkups because if there's something wrong and you don't have the money to pay for treatment, then you'd rather just not know. Cash bail. With the discussions going on about changes to bail, I've seen a few people saying things like, "Oh, so you're just going to drop cash bail? Just gonna decide whether to release people? People are just going to show up to court without the money threat?" Yeah. As I understand it, that's how it works in places all over the world already. I've been released on cash bail before. I didn't show up to court because of the cash bail. I showed up because warrants are annoying. Being legally allowed to drink only when you reach 21. Ambulance rides costing money seems pretty absurd to people from other countries. When I went to New York, I was flabbergasted by the amount of people just loitering on the streets or having phone conversations that everyone can hear on the train like NPCs from GTA. People outside of the USA don't hang out in public or let other people into their business on public transport. I managed to hear a woman talk about how her baby daddy wasn't going to her daughter's birthday party, and I started to pick sides in her personal life. While walking through Central Park, the first heard 2 friends with a substantial age gap talk about everyone in their friend group having mistresses, and they were trading information on the mistress facts each of them knew for their respective friends. I got invested in that one, so I followed them for a while, pretending I wasn't, because I wanted the tea. Just dealing with preventable and curable diseases instead of seeking medical attention out of fear of crippling debt. Putting a ton of sugar in products like bread. Toilet cubicles. Where people not only can peek, but an adult person could crawl into your cubicle. There is so much space under the door. When I was there during the last election, I was shocked at how phrases like, "Well, they have the black vote," or the Latino vote, came up all the time on the radio. Obviously it's not racist, but it's just something that would never come up in my country. Like, why would Latino people all vote for the same person? I'm an American, born and raised, but I've heard that in other countries, strangers don't say hi or strike up conversations with each other. I know non-Americans are confused, but let me explain. Sometimes if you are, say, at an amusement park for example, and you're waiting in line for a ride, strangers would strike conversations with you and such, and this is actually pretty normal. Or say you are walking around in a park and you walk past by someone. You usually smile and say a quick, "Hi," as you are walking past that person. I've had countless times where I've had people strike conversations with me that I didn't know. White people do this, but especially black people do this a lot as well. Like you would see an old black lady at a store and she'll just start talking to you. I've had Europeans tell me that people would think you are mentally ill if you were to strike up conversations with strangers in Europe, for example. Especially in Asian countries, no one does this. I've heard strangers absolutely do not say a word to each other in Japan or China, for example. Side note, this may also be a regional thing in the US. I've lived in southern states mostly, like Texas, and people are really damn friendly down there. Now I live in Connecticut and people are way less friendly over here. No offense. Edit. I want to make a comment about Asian countries and their people not talking to strangers. If you are white American, European, they will tend to talk to you because they don't see people like you daily. Because you are a foreigner. I was talking about Asian strangers specifically. Not putting the final price on the tag. I'm not sure whether it's still like this, but a few years ago one never knew whether the $1 item in McDonald's or Burger King is actually $1 or maybe $1.08. American flags everywhere. I traveled throughout Europe and the Caribbean and I usually only saw their flag on government buildings and here and there. Whereas here in the USA the flag is like Frank's Red Hot. We put that shit on everything. Magnets, churches, cars, condoms, every front porch, and street lamp. Hashtag Murica. Damn. I throw out a random comment and get 9k likes. Also, I feel like this thread became a subreddit for Canada. Portion sizes. Prescription drug ads encouraging people to ask their doctor about the drug being advertised. Edit. A lot of people have mentioned this is also common in several other countries like New Zealand. I thought it was exclusively the US. Also, some interesting points are that it has helped raise awareness to some issues people might otherwise not take seriously or be ashamed to bring up to their doctor. Thank you for the awards. I appreciate it. Gratuitous violence in entertainment is normal. But show one boob and people lose their shit. Willingly putting yourself massively in debt for a college degree. I come from a place with free university education, which has its own drawbacks of course. And the fact that you can make such a huge, life-altering decision at 17 is considered normal over there. That seems downright bizarre to me. This one is more on the positive side, because I think we could learn some from it. Talking and sharing your life with complete strangers. I have met quite a few Americans, so it seems the norm that you share and engage with strangers in public. The bus, train, parks, etc. And then you go on your way. In Denmark you'd be a freak if you did that. Not owning kettles and microwaving their water for coffee, tea. As an American, one was shocked to learn that not every school internationally has a building cop. The enabling customer service culture. It's created excessive portions in restaurants. Created Karen. Gives way to a disposable attitude towards products. And generally gives a sense of entitlement where most people start adding it to their list of rights. A flag in every corner of a classroom. And Americans being very patriotic to the stars and stripes. Other countries barely give a poop about their flags. When you are 18 years old, you can be shipped to a foreign country to kill humans. But you are not allowed to drink alcohol. Having police patrol the school. Mobility scooters. The idea that giving birth to a child is prohibitively expensive to a lot of people. One way or another, most of the world does not have that problem. Had some American colleagues in Norway asking us how we celebrate the 4th of July. Circumcision and medical debt. I'm gonna say something positive. I live in southern Italy. But I go all around the state and the most fun and genuine tourists I've met were all American. Didn't meet a single entitled one. Putting your country's flag everywhere and on everything. A flagpole on your porch or car bumper sticker may be somewhat understandable, but it gets really weird when it starts popping up on baseball caps, swimsuits or underwear. I'm in Australia and Americans are the only ones do this. Yes, with the American flag. Even all the way out here. Having your country singled out on AskReddit every couple weeks. American accents. I mean, everyone thinks their own accent is normal, but I've met Americans who think that they have no accent. Like theirs is the baseline somehow. Big glasses of water with ice at restaurants. I live in Texas usually and I drink ice water like 24/7. It's a good habit here. Especially in summer. When I was in Europe I would get the smallest glasses of lukewarm water that I had to ask for more every 10 seconds. I felt annoying. Aren't y'all thirsty? Or am I missing something? Bankruptcy because you went to the hospital.